Hello sir, good afternoon. This is my topic about no poverty. So I have a three problem concern here. The first one is there are currently 836 million people living in extreme poverty. So what is the solution? So we need to improve poor people's resilience so they can live a dignified life and give them a relief good so they can survive in their daily needs. And number two is the livelihood of the impoverished is heavily dependent on natural resources. So what is the solution of this? Is to encourage diversification of livelihood so they can live a peaceful life. And number three, the last one is poor people are more susceptible to disaster, climate change, and environmental degradation. So what is the solution of this? We need to reduce disaster and shock risk by adapting to climate change. Because sir, is we need to adapt climate change to prevent more disaster like tsunami and other more disasters. So we need to love our own environment. So that is, and thank you.
Question number 1. What is the problem concern in the assigned SDG to you? Zero hunger. 1 in 9 people worldwide are undernourished because of monocrop culture. 75% of crop diversity has been lost, making crops more susceptible to pest outbreaks and diseases. The goals of the Zero Hunger Initiative are to end hunger and make sure that enough nutritious foods are available to people by 2030. Global hunger creates a cycle that people cannot escape from. It causes individuals to be less productive and more prone to diseases, which in turn make them less able to improve their livelihoods and earn better income. Question number 2. How to solve it? Double the productivity and incomes of small-scale food producer. Sustainable food production and resilient agricultural practices maintain the genetic diversity in food productions. Invest in rural infrastructure, agricultural research, technology, and gene banks. Prevent agricultural trade restriction, market distortions, and export subsidy. Ensure stable food commodity markets and timely access to information. Question number 3. It is applicable or a problem also in the Philippines. Cite facts and examples. This problem is not applicable in the Philippines because more hunger or the one social problem is poverty.
Good health and well-being. Problem concern. Each year, environmental factors account for millions of deaths worldwide, or around 1/4 of all fatalities. With environmental factors, we can add na mga pagbaha, landslide, mga environmental factors na pwedeng maka-affect sa mga tao. Pero ang focus natin ngayon ay ang pollution. More than 100 diseases, especially affecting young children and the elderly, are caused by pollution and chemical exposure, climate change, and ultraviolet radiation. Dahil nga sa the biggest environmental health danger in the world, air pollution kills 6.5 people prematurely each year. Dahil sa air pollution, mas lalo nababawasan po yung cover po ng earth, kaya po mas lalong lumalakas po ang ultraviolet radiation. Parang mas lalo pong umiinit. Kasama na po dito ang climate change, kaya mas lalo po tayo nahihirapan. At ang mga solution na pwedeng gawin dito, avoid pollution and reduce it to stop million of premature deaths each year. So, para ma-avoid ang pollution, simple lang naman. Yung huwag tayo magsunog ng huwag tayo magsunog ng kung ano-ano, at iwasan din kung hanggang maaari, iwasan ng paggamit ng mga sariling sasakyan. Kung pwede naman mag-commute na lang para mas lalong mabawasan ng air pollution na pwedeng makaapekto. Pati din ng mga pang-water pollution. Huwag tayong magtatapon ng kung ano-ano saan, kasi minsan nakakabot po sa kanal, tapos umano sa dagat, ilog. Kaya mas lalo pong lumalala ang pollution po. Create healthier environment by cooperating with the energy, transportation, agricultural, and industrial sector. Sa agricultural, mas magandang kung kaya magtanim na lang. Sa transportation naman at energy, ayun na yung mga bagay na ayun nga po, yung kagaya po ng sinabi ko na kung may sasakyan man o kung may sariling sasakyan, at kung kaya naman mag-commute na lang para mas lalong maiwasan ang lalong taas ng pollution. Dahil sa pag-commute, mas lalong medyo nababawasan ang mga nailalabas ng carbon dioxide ng mga private transportation. Use cleaner energy to reduce outdoor and inside air pollution and save millions of lives. Use cleaner energy para mas parang kapag use clear energy to reduce outdoors and inside air pollution. Para dito mas maganda na hindi naman ginagamit yung mga appliances, mas magandang patayin na lang para makasave sa mga energy na hindi naman kailangan sayangin.
SDG or Sustainable Development Goal. Quality education. What do you mean by a quality education? There are some who argue that their hold of quality education is met by focusing only on literacy and numeracy. But the Sustainable Development Goal are a recognition that this definition is insufficient and outdated. Education is not simply a content delivery system. Rather, it is a system designed to help all children reach their full potential and enter society as full and productive citizens. What is the problem or concern in the assigned SDG to you? Studies and fact-finding commissions have shown that deteriorating quality of education is due to low government budget or education, poor quality of teachers, poor management of schools, poor school facilities such as laboratory and library facilities. And another problem concerns is more than 60% of the world's youth, or 103 million people, lack basic literacy skills. And children, especially girls, are unable to attend school due to lack of access to basic services like water and power. Children who drop out of school for an extended period of time may be affected by natural disasters like floods and droughts. Or another problems is money or mobile, poor load, lack of gadget, poor internet signal, and students struggle to focus and learn online. And how we can solve quality education in the Philippines? Promote education for all as potent tool for creating societies that are resilient and sustainable. And another is to give kids more time to attend school, improve access to basic services, build resilience so that kids may attend school at all times, and particularly during extreme weather events. Quality education, is it applicable or problem also in the Philippines? Yes, this is a problem there because of huge disparity among different social groups in educational achievement as there will be in the most countries. This is not all unusual. The wealthy have better access to education than poor, plain and simple. The wealthiest kid will get the higher education needed to prepare them for the kind of careers or entrepreneurship that will get them ahead in life. Compared to other countries around us, the quality of our education is still developing. Teachers and students are having a hard time adjusting in the new curriculum K-12 program, when in fact this curriculum was already applied in the most schools around the world many years ago. And the Philippines must realize that education is not a way to get ahead in life. The Philippines must realize that poverty hurts education so much, and that not all the solution are within the curriculum. The Philippines must realize that a lot of solution life in the early years, not in the later ones when problems have become insurmountable. That's all.
Gender equality is when people of all genders have equal rights, responsibilities, and opportunities. It is also the state of equal ease of access to resources and opportunities regardless of gender, including economic participation and decision making. This is the questions that given by Sir Jomar. Number one is, what is the problem or concern in the assigned SDG to you? Here are the problem or concern in gender equality. Number one is when women are among those most at risk from environmental degradation and the effects of climate change particularly harm them. Number two is when women are more vulnerable to extreme weather events due to a lack of access to land, loans, agricultural inputs, and markets. Number three is women are prevented from developing resilience due to cultural, legal, political, and financial bias. Number two question is how to solve it. Are the solutions in how to solve the gender equality. Number one is to recognize the important role played by women as custodians of biodiversity and communities' well-being. Number two is to create a more sustainable future, support equal access for women to land, agricultural inputs, financial services, and education, the future of their family, community, and oneself. Number three is to create gender-friendly laws and equality culture that will enable women to act as strong agents of change. Number three question is it applicable or a problem also in the Philippines? Cite an example. Yes, is applicable because gender equality is a basic human right and a necessary condition for the elimination of poverty and attainment of national and economic development. Are the examples why is it applicable in the Philippines. Number one is when women and men play equal parts in determining and shaping the life of the community in its political, economic, cultural, and social facts. Number two is when women and men can depend on the government to demonstrate gender equity in its speech, writing, and actions.
Sustainable Development Goals of clean water and sanitation. As we look to the world statistic of unclean water, every year 3.5 million people die from water-related disease. They get this disease from drinking unsafe water and having no facilities for sanitation. Without sanitation, people well-being will be affected and they will also get sick. Another problem is the industrial waste that make water pollution. The most polluting of them are the city sewage and the industrial waste discharged into the rivers. Industrial waste is defined as waste generated by manufacturing or industrial process. People living in the slums are exposed to this kind of environment. Philippines have areas that also have unclean water and bad waste management, struggling to find a decent water, and many factories are spilling their toxic waste on the bay. Solution: stop disposing of waste and chemical in the environment, protect natural resources, and prevent contamination of the waterways. To provide access to clean water, restore ecosystem.